Listen to that, my friends. You are watching Hurricane I make its way towards Nassau in the Bahamas. And check out this beach cam. We have a live web feed here of this storm approaching. We're looking at 20-plus foot waves with this storm, and I will show you that on Vent2 Sky. Sit tight. That's right, August 1st. I can't believe we actually made it, and I can't believe we might be looking at our 10th named storm. That's after letter I, Isaias. At this point, I've heard so many different pronunciations, I'm not even too worried about it. I think we all know what we're talking about here. I have Vent2 Sky pulled up for you guys, and if you check out this chart here, this is a wave chart. Now, if we go down into basically the heart of the storm right now, heading towards Nassau in the Bahamas, we're looking at 20-plus foot waves in the water there. That's pretty significant, especially when we're looking towards Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Delray Beach, West Palm Beach, all these areas of Florida as early as today. So if we move this chart on Vent2 Sky in the wave setting here and we go to the second, this is obviously just a hypothetical situation. I know there's not much space in between where the storm is and where it's going to go, but just to give you an idea of what to expect, we could be looking at anywhere from 13 to 15-foot waves hitting from Fort Lauderdale all the way up to Port St. Lucie, probably even higher. Now, again, this isn't a guarantee. This thing does have room to shift, and it is over open water now. Once it gets past the Nassau area right here, we're going to be in open warm water. This thing has potential to grow. And we can get some of that info here. Orlando Sentinel, I should say, article that came out a little while ago. If we just read this part here, the center of Hurricane Isaias is on course to hit the northern Andros Islands in the Bahamas Saturday afternoon. That is today, obviously, followed by cruising up Florida's east coast sometimes late Saturday, according to the National Hurricane Center's 11 a.m. update. Now, this is what I want you to pay attention to. The Category 1 storm's maximum sustained winds fell to 80 miles an hour, but its forward motion slowed down to 12. Now, that's what's important, because the longer that this thing's over that open water, the longer it has to strengthen again. So we're right about here, maybe a little bit farther ahead of time, as shown on this chart here. But once this thing gets to right here between these two islands heading towards South Florida, this is where they're expecting it to grow, and we might reach that strong Category 1 status. I do not believe we'll see a Category 2 unless this thing really stays in water and kind of clips Florida and then becomes an issue for the Carolinas, which it already will be, but right now we're honing in on Florida. With the main concern right now being the storm surge, of course the wind too, but more so the storm surge for those on the coast. Based on the info we're receiving now, we could be seeing a 5 to 8 foot storm surge, which is pretty significant, especially those low-level areas in Florida. We've seen it before, we will see it again. Checking out the stats right now, we are at 80 miles per hour, 987 millibars of pressure. That is an uptick from before. We're at 12 miles an hour in a northwest direction. Again, we got to keep an eye on that speed so we can determine whether or not this thing's going to strengthen. Chances are it will strengthen a little bit before making any sort of landfall or skim across Florida. And before we forget, as if we're going to, we have that disturbance, which is now at 60% chance. It looks like it's going to cut inside of the path of Isaias and come back out into the ocean. But we also have our 10th tropical depression of the year, way out over by the west coast of Africa, 1,009 millibars, 30 miles per hour. We'll see what happens with Tropical Depression 10. A look at the near future doesn't show much as far as hurricane activity with those two invests, but then again, it's very hard to really predict those with these charts. So just because you don't see it doesn't mean it's not going to happen. We got Isaias right here. That 60% tropical depression is about here, and then the west coast of Africa invest tropical depression 10 is right about here. So if we move forward a little bit into time, we could see how it begins to build up here, but we could see that 60% lineup that we were just looking at right here. That is this one. Sorry about that. That would be right about here, and it cuts up to this area. So if we backtrack here, we can kind of see how this comes up and goes whoop and kind of just takes a little spin into the Atlantic. Maybe more than likely not being an issue. We will see, though, for sure. A few of these radar loops are pretty interesting as well. If we go back about 12 hours, it almost looks like there's two storms right here, two twin hurricanes, but the momentum carrying storm, I would say, is that leading edge right here on the east side of this entire system here, and that's coming up towards, obviously, the south side of Florida. But check this out. Look how this thing morphs into almost two different storms, and then towards the end, we almost see a third right there. Look, it looks like three little storms lined up in a row, but it's all being powered by this main cyclone right here that's churning everything in a counterclockwise direction as it moves through that warm water of the Bahamas. And a little bit closer, because these radar views are just too cool. This is just great stuff, guys. Great video here. Great radar pickup. this stuff's really exciting to watch. Of course, we don't want anyone in harm's way, but watching these storms develop and what they're capable of and how they move and morph and how they're affected, it's literally an unbelievable thing to try to wrap your head around because it's just such a big concept. But with that said, guys, that is the update for now. I pray for everybody in Florida right now, everybody in the Bahamas, everyone in the entire region of this storm and other storms as well. But what we need to do is focus on our friends in Florida. We need to be very up to date on our information, which is why I'm going to be doing a few updates today as this storm approaches South Florida. Very important stuff, guys. This is our second hurricane of the Atlantic season, our 9th named storm, and we're working on number 10, and it's the first day of August. We have August, September, and most of October as far as peak hurricane season goes, and we're already, oh man, 10 letters through the alphabet, guys. That's pretty serious. So we'll see what happens. I'll be back with another update later. I hope everyone's safe. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.